Hello, and welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We're your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
And I'm Caroline, and today we are recapping Season 5, Episode 14 of Pretty Little Liars called Through a Glass Darkly.
Or something like that.
Which is kind of a horrible title.
The last couple of titles have been not great. I really didn't like how the A stole Christmas.
No, it just doesn't really roll off the tongue. But, so Anthony, he's watched a few episodes here and there of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Not really recently, though. And so I came down and he was in here and I was just the
Binging.
room. Well, he was on a 12-hour binge. And I came down in this room and I really needed to watch the show in here. And he was in here and I was like, I need you to let me have control of the TV, but if you want to watch it with me, you can. So he was like, okay, which was a shock. So he just jumped in, really, you guys, at this point, after probably not, I don't think he finished season 1. So imagine now, if you will, somebody who has no other knowledge except for hearing me and Phoebe through the floor recording and oftentimes only hearing one side of the conversation, watching this. And immediately we're at Mona's funeral, which we're going to get into it. Also shocked Mona was dead. He was like, wait,
what?
He was like, wait, what? And I was like, no, that was my reaction. So I had to pause it and explain to him yeah, I know. And he's like, I don't believe that. And I was like, I know. And I said to Phoebe, we saw a body and I don't know how they're going to do that. And he's like, I saw Allie's body, I feel like. And I was like, thank you. All these people have died and they're back. He's like, I went to Allie's funeral. I was like, me too. So this means nothing to me. And he looked it up, but he didn't tell me. I told him not to tell me.
Well, good. I think
that makes me think there's a twist.
What's different about Mona being dead and seeing her body is that we saw a body in a yellow shirt. A body in a yellow shirt. A body in a yellow shirt.
Wait, what is that from?
It's that little jingle people do when they do their outfits.
Oh, that's viral right now. You're so online.
That's viral right now.
Right. The thing you learned on the internet.
But Mona's body is like rigor mortis.
Rigor mortis.
And the blood and we
name that musical.
I don't know. I thought you were quoting Drag Race.
I'm gonna try it again. And I would say rigor mortis if I was quoting Drag Race,
which would be a great drag name.
Which would be, and actually, I think in next week's podcast. So, guys, Phoebe explained in the last week's episode, but just so you know, this is the first week we're doing this. Do not make us regret it, please, God. We are now doing 2 episodes a week because as our show has evolved, it's really kind of turned into 2 different shows, it feels like. And we have people who love both parts and we love that. But we also have people who prefer one or the other and we love them too, whatever. So we're just splitting it up to make it easier for us and for you guys. So on Tuesdays, you're going to get that first half. That's all the pop culture. If you're watching reality television, you want to hear what we think, that's the one to listen to. If you want to hear what's going on in our everyday lives and you want more Connell lore, not to say you're not going to get any in the recap episodes.
Don't worry. I mean,
we do see ourselves in all these girls, so we frequently will.
Yeah, I don't know how much. I mean, I think I said this at the top of the episode last week that you're going to be getting probably more content.
Well,
because
100%.
we're still going to talk for forever and ever. Mm-hmm. But also, Caroline and I are known to take a tangent or two.
Yeah. So if you are, you should listen to both. But if you're only listening to Thursdays, you probably will still get that. But most of it will be in that Tuesday episode. That's where we're going to do our rotations. So if you like hearing our rotations, that's going to be Tuesdays. And a lot of announcements and stuff. We might still do announcements in these because it's important for you guys to hear. But that is how you can kind of expect it to split. And when we say what do you guys want us to talk about, that's going to be those Tuesday episodes.
Yeah.
And this is going to be mostly just recap. And you guys know, our recaps are truly beat for beat. So this is officially the recap day, and we will try to only talk about really Pretty Little Liars, which is why this opening combo is also about that. But anyway,
we'll try our best.
What we were saying before is I'm sorry. I know it was Addams Family, by the way. That was a musical.
Oh, that was going to be, I was going to guess Beetlejuice, actually.
It's
But
a really
that
fun
makes
part.
sense.
And when you're in Adams, the opening number, and they're all like doing all these different dances throughout the decades. They're like bunny hop, twist and shout, and they go rigor mortis, and everyone's like, when you're in Adams, that's right.
Our
When
dog
you're in Adams.
Elvis, we used to when we would pick him up like a baby. Snoop Dogg, our dog now, like
Snoop would like
that's
nuzzle.
the only way that Snoop wants to be held is like a baby.
Yeah.
Elvis would literally go into rigor mortis.
Literally,
he would
all
stick
four
his
legs.
arms and legs straight out, and he would make this noise.
Hyperextended, to be honest. Like, he honestly could have, he had the frame to be a ballerina. Because with those hyperextended legs, I mean, you would never seen a man so stiff in your life. Ah! I didn't mean that. That was grody.
Yeah.
And you made a face. I didn't even know that I said something grody until you made like this
Well, I didn't
face in disbelief.
No, that's not even what I made.
Oh, you were in disbelief about something else.
I don't even know what anymore.
I don't even know what anymore is so real.
We open up.
Wait, I got to do the recap.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So we open up and, or sorry, no, not we open up. We're doing, oh my God. We're doing the recap. So it's quick this time. The main stuff you need to know is that the narrative right now is that Allison is A. Mona really believed this. She imparted this onto the girls before she was, moment of silence, murdered
Unalived.
by someone with blonde hair, presumably Allison De Laurentiis. And we also know that Allie is building an army, which includes turning Cindy and Mindy into certified hotties. All right, Spencer, though, things are not going so great as they are for Cindy and Mindy for Spencer Hastings, and I'll tell you why. Because she was arrested. And not just for anything. This isn't some shoplifting Hannah Marin shit. She was arrested for the murder of Bethany Young. But when she and Mona were on their final escapade together to Radley, rest in peace, they found a letter from Bethany Young that thanked Allie for inviting her to the De Laurentiis house on, you guessed it, Labor Day weekend, when she famously went missing and when Bethany was killed. So this is confirmation that Allie and Bethany knew each other, and we build on that by also figuring out that Jess D and Bethany's dad were having an affair. So this is layered, people. It's layered. As far as Hannah, we have a little reminder that Allison used to call Grunwald for help, and we know Grunwald has the magic of insight. I put that under Hannah because Hannah's going to be our Grunwald girlie in this episode. And then finally, Mose's parents want her to move to California to get away from awful Rosewood, which I'm like, interesting that we waited this long.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, like,
we're moving to San Francisco.
Why didn't first of all, Paige wouldn't have an option. I love how Emily and Paige this entire episode are like, you could just stay.
Beds back and
you
forth.
Can just
No. Paige is not. Paige
Emily's
is like, Emily, for the last time.
My
like,
parents.
not, and Emily's like, yep, you can stay. This isn't fair. And Mose is like, hey, life's not fair.
I also am getting a sense Paige also kind of
wants to go. I'm like, hey, why are you trying to do this? Like, go with her. How about that? I don't know. Maybe where you go, trouble follows. Maybe that's what you've learned. You've learned that the hard way. Anyway, that's really it. That's our recap. So now we begin.
Lieutenant Tanner is smelling flowers.
Who? Lieutenant Butterscotch. Lieutenant Butterscotch is smelling the roses outside of Mona's funeral. And you know what? Actually, this scene is actually giving Mona Vanderwall was dead as a doornail.
In
that's
an
actually
empty
what
casket.
this is giving. Yeah. Wait, that's sad that that's a thing.
I know.
I didn't really know. Spencer, of course, educates us because there's no body, but they are pulling out this massive casket down the church steps, and we see everyone coming out. They're all wearing lays.
Okay, hey everybody, when my funeral happens, I don't want anybody describing the coffin as massive.
Hey everybody, no. Hey everybody, when our joint funeral happens, I don't want to explain what happened, guys. Don't ask. It's private. But when that does happen, our casket is going to be so comically large that nobody will have any idea like that we're even in it, because it's going to take like 500 people to lift, and it'll have nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? Because they'll be like, well, oh my God, they chose this massive grand coffin, of course. Well, we actually chose it for them because it's the only thing that suited them. And it's so heavy on its own. No, like everyone will be like, it's so heavy, but it's not the girls. Like, you know what I mean? We're gonna go so far. Is this making sense to you? Because imagine if we got a really light coffin and then people are carrying us in it, then they're like, oh, it's not the coffin. the girls are heavy, which would be completely untrue. And crazy. But it's like when babies go limp and they're like so hard to pick up, like that's kind of like a dead body.
Yes. Oh my gosh. At the saloon last night, Tommy
someone went limp.
No, but Tommy goes, so my mom told me like a couple years ago that you can't lay a baby on their back because their head will flatten. Is that true? And we all went, yeah.
Well, I didn't know it was because their head will flatten. I just thought it was because they don't have anything to protect.
Their skulls are so soft when they're a kid that it will. Oh. But the way he was like,
So what about when you lay them down on their crib?
Well, it's a mattress.
I can't have kids. Guys, there are rules, so many. And it's like,
guys, I'm not going to post these pictures because I hate how I look in them. However, there are the funniest pictures ever of me having to hold my baby cousin Kit for the first time. Because I couldn't figure. I am so terrified of dropping a baby.
So weird.
Like,
did you never go to like the big sister class at the hospital?
No.
In preparation for, great. They really, mom and dad were like, let's get Caroline in school to be a sister. I was in big sister classes, and I was so proud. Like when I got, what?
For both of us or just for Lily?
I don't remember.
Because maybe I was too young because I was like 4 when Lily was born.
Oh.
They might not have put the newborn in my arms.
I was 5 when you were born.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That would give me more context.
Yeah, but I was in that class.
Before I was born? Or
I believe
before
you were born. Being a big sister was like big deal for me. Okay? I don't know if you felt that way when you became a big sister, but it was a freaking big deal.
Caroline was like, now it's my turn to be in charge.
I was like, here's a question. Is somebody... What was that?
Storm surge in Charleston.
Okay.
Critical.
You don't live there. What I was thinking was like, is this baby going to match my freak? That's what I kept thinking.
And now we have a podcast.
And then I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go take school to be a good big sister so that I can make sure this baby will match my freak. So that one day we can have an internationally known podcast.
Well, so Spencer.
It's 3 months later, by the way.
Yes.
So they still haven't found a body 3 months later. And I want you to know I've seen these pictures of these girls in these outfits leaving the funeral so many times and never knew it was Mona's.
The flowers.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was Mona still.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know whose I thought it was? Shauna.
Oh.
I think I thought it was going to be Shauna's funeral.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to go into Shauna's funeral, but we did get to watch it.
That we did.
So Spencer educates us and says that like it's something that they do for the casket isn't technically empty. It's filled with a bunch of old stuff, including old retainers, which is mom core.
Mom core. How about our old teeth? You're like, no. These aren't from we have no body, but we do have teeth just because Mona's mom kept them.
Instead of throwing the dirt on the casket, it's just all your baby teeth.
Oh my, wait.
Sharp
New
objects.
trend alert.
Vibes.
Oh my God, literally. So we also find out that Spencer has not been cleared. So they found that letter, and I guess Hottie Holbrook is really trying to get that letter thrown out. So Spencer is still on the hook. And then you guys, you'll never believe who shows up to the funeral in pink. In a pink floral dress.
This bitch.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
For someone who really wants people to believe you're not guilty, you're acting crazy.
You're Ben Affleck in Gone Girl right now.
Exactly. You are literally doing everything wrong.
And so it's Allie, by the way. Allie shows up to Rosewood Times Square in front of the church, and as if showing up wasn't crazy enough, she approaches Mrs. Vanderwall.
This though,
and not even to say sorry.
No,
to clear her name.
Just want to let you know one more time, it wasn't me. Is basically what she's saying. She's like, you and your little asshole moms are running around town like, Allie killed my daughter, and it's I wasn't me again. Guys, Mona's mother. I take back everything we said about her when her daughter was killed, because she redeemed herself as an actress and as a mother in this. Because the way that she fucking slaps the shit out of... Does she backhand her? It feels like it has the force of a backhand. I mean, she hits Allie so hard. Anthony goes, whoa!
Would you rather get slapped front facing or backhanded?
Oh, for sure front.
You think? I feel like it would sting more.
Yeah, but a backhand could like knock you out. It's like knuckles... This is much more like light, because if you go backhand, the other thing is your fingers are like, if you're going this way, your fingers will stop. But if you go this way, it doesn't do that. And you can get way more force than if you go like this.
And spoken from experience, it sounds like. So, yes, Mrs. Vanderwall slaps Allie, and then Hannah goes and gets
She's
Mrs.
screaming,
Vanderwall.
"Where's my daughter?" Oh my God, it is so good.
So now we're in Mona's room, and Hannah.
Okay, what a great episode for Hannah. I keep
Oh
saying
my
it.
gosh.
Guys, can you believe? Oh my God, we can talk about it now. Guys, can you believe we talked to Sarah Shepard and she also like such a huge Hannah fan.
How can
TV
you not
Hannah,
be?
which I felt like we were so in sync with her. Like Caleb and Hannah's her favorite ship too, even though Caleb wasn't even in the books, you guys. That's how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
She also hates that Mona's dead.
Yeah, well, yes.
I mean, we were really so in sync.
It was perfect.
It was so fun, you guys. She's so cool. You should just hang out with her.
And
anywho,
so we're in Mona's room, and Mrs. Vanderwall is like, whatever. She feels a little bit bad about what happened with Allie, and Hannah comes up and she's like, I finished cleaning up all the dishes and this and this. Do you want me to fold the chairs
she's
down
like,
there before I
else,
go?
What else can I do? Like, what do you need before I leave? And you know she's the only one here. She's the only one. It's not like the other girls are downstairs waiting.
Allie, Spencer, and Emily showed face
Does
at the
Mona
funeral.
have no family? That's the other thing. Like, Hannah's here. Where's the family? I know there's got to be an aunt somewhere. You know what I mean? And it just is like so. But honestly, Mona's mom is better than me because she's feeling bad. But I'm like, you would find me up there pacing back and forth, like, who's next? Let me at him. Like, I would be amped up from the fight.
You'd be locked
from
in a
the
room.
fight.
We would have great time.
I would. Mona's mom, but she doesn't.
Yeah,
and honestly, you know what? I don't even think she needed it before the slap.
No,
It was
the perfect release for her.
It was iconic.
And so
Hannah goes, people understand. When she's like, I feel bad about doing it. She's like, people hate Allison, so don't worry. Like, at least it was her.
We all wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And Mona's mom is like, it's just really hard because it's like Mona's lost at sea. Like it's like, I just don't know. And you can tell there's part of her that still thinks maybe there's a chance she could be alive. But then she's like, why did I do this funeral? Why did I, like, this was so stupid. Like, she's just
in the casket,
all
I think.
These terrible kind of back and forth thoughts about everything. That's just like, it creates this restless feeling. And Hannah's like, well, I'm going to go fold the chairs before I go. And then I'm going to get out of here. Even though Mrs. Vanderwall says you don't have to fold the chairs. Hannah still.
But Hannah also says that, like, I think Hannah just like knows what to say. And I think it's because, get this, she just really listens to people.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not just thinking like the other girls are like, what am I going to say next? Hannah's like listening and then thinks about what she's going to say. And like, so Mona's mom says to her, you know, I regret this empty casket. And Hannah's like, well, I bet, you know, you were trying to find a way to say goodbye. And that funeral probably helped a lot of people. And just as like making
Caroline
her feel,
is welling up with tears as she speaks.
I cried twice during this episode. You know, the other time I cried.
I don't know. I watched this
when we had our tortured poet and her brother at the end.
Oh, Caroline loves a sibling.
I do like
a sibling being up for murder and the other sibling covering.
No, wait, what are you talking about?
Are you talking about Jason and Allie?
No. Why would I have cried during that?
Well,
Aria and Mike.
That's what.
Obviously.
Well, I thought you were talking about torture. I was picturing Allie's.
You're
bedroom.
The one who was like, did you have you seen Aria's jacket?
I know. But I immediately, we always talk about Allie is the tortured poet.
This is honestly like, I know the Summer I Turned Pretty is like the Taylor Swift show, but they're wrong. It's so Pretty Little Liars.
This was predictive. That's not a word, but it's a word.
You're
in this
right.
moment. Predictive.
I think it is. Predictive text. Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Because that's what it's called on the phone. Anyway, on the phone.
I saw a tweet today that was like, I just wish there was a way that I could make sure my phone was never invented.
Just mine specifically. Yeah, I would. Yeah. There's no one I want to thank out that. Yeah. I love how she says there and yeah the exact same way. Try saying it. That. Yeah. You have to say it different.
There.
Say them both.
Yeah.
Same. There. Yeah.
There. Yeah.
See, they're not the same. You have to like change your mouth shape. There. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not
Try it. Try it one more time.
There. Yeah.
That was better. Not perfect, but better. Okay. Anyway.
And so Mona's mom gives Hannah an old stuffed animal of Mona's.
She says, take care of this. Okay, it's not real. If I was Hannah, I'd be like, oh, this isn't a real dog.
I was thinking that there was gonna be like a recorder in it, or like they were gonna find like
100, and then later it's like on the table, and I was like, surely there's something stuffed in here that Mona's mom knew about.
Can you even believe the blunder that Aria makes in this fucking episode? I wanted to jump through the screen when she loses the fucking computer.
Oh my god. Well, okay. we'll get there, Phoebe. That's a little harsh.
I don't think so.
Harsh given the circumstances.
I don't think so.
We'll get there.
So
Daddy, okay, this was weird. Daddy Hastings is back.
I'm glad we both wrote this down. They hug?
I wrote, and they hug, which is weird. I don't think I've ever seen them hug, especially, again, I'll say it, under the circumstances.
And they try to make it seem like it's normal.
They're like squeeze hugging. Like, it's not just like a quick little like hi. It's like a long
This isn't
hug.
me digging into these actors because this works for their relationship normally, but there's like zero chemistry between Daddy Hastings and Spencer. So it's like they don't have that like
they don't have the mother-daughter. The father-daughter connection. It's just really not there. And it's weird because there were times when I did see it before, but it's really like you can just see how much Spencer feels she has to play the part, because I just feel like she thinks she's just stuck here and for a finite amount of time with her dad and her fucked up family. But it's like also he walks in and she talks about the funeral and describes it as ghastly. And it's like, Spencer, you weren't saying shit like that before Daddy was home. So that seems like you're kind of changing.
So Vivi asked Peter to come by because unfortunately Bethany Young's parents have petitioned for Spencer's bail to be revoked.
Which I would do too if I were Bethany's parents, and we're pretty sure.
If it was like pretty clear.
We have an eyewitness, which we will learn in this episode. One thing I wanted to point out really quick is that Spencer says something, talking about Allison, to her dad about the slap and all this. And she goes, we all wanted to stuff her into a coffin. And it's like, all right, we are on trial for murder. Yeah, maybe also, we don't say shit like that so cavalierly.
I love how she goes, after the slap heard around the world. Imagine if that happened in our town.
I know. Oh, well, it would be the slap heard around the world.
Outside of St. Bernard's Church. Pamela's brunch is going on. It's the summer.
Oh my God, there's outdoor seating. There is a spin class has just gotten out at Mega Fitness.
CrossFit is, the garage door is open.
Yes. And the spin class.
Oh my God. And the spin class.
And they're all walking out and they're going out across because they all parked down near Lincoln on Ralston.
Of course. Oh my God, I'm stressed.
Oh my God, when this happens, it is really going to be a bad day in Mount Lebanon. This is so not going to be good, Phoebe. Okay, so anyway, so Vivi wanted Peter to come by. And
because of this petition, though, this is how we learned about the witness.
Yes, they've unsealed her indictment for the first time, so we now know why Spencer was arrested. And we go to the police station, and Anthony, it's just nice to view this through like new eyes. Is that how you feel when we watch it?
Imagine having an indictment at 17.
No, thanks. I'm going to pass. Imagine Toby being allowed to just like work on this stuff.
Yeah.
He's like in the room for all the shit that I'm like, I feel like there's a conflict of interest.
Especially when it's not like he's been a police officer for a long time. It's
brand new.
It's also, and it's clear that there's maybe a reason he became a police officer. To tamper with evidence.
Personal interest.
It's like in Scream. Spoilers for Scream 6. Spoilers. You've seen it? We saw it together.
I wish you guys could see the way Phoebe talking through thin air. Spoilers for Scream 6. Spoilers. And her hands just like flopping around. She's like, listen. And then she like lazily turns over to me. You've seen it? Just to like confirm. I've seen it. Yeah.
If I'm the NYPD and this guy gets on the force and like has his hands all over this shit, I'm thinking it's weird.
It's like, here's the thing. Why are we, as the PD, as the proverbial PD, not getting suspicious of people inserting themselves? Because Phoebe and I saw Trap last night, and like we'll talk about it more on Tuesday. Not a good movie, by the way.
No.
But I'm sorry, you don't need to make such a big deal out of yourself walking to get coffee. Like, that was a little much.
He would have gotten out of there, I think, just fine if he had just like, acted normal.
He's like, oh my God, I have the skin of a killer. Like, he had the Aria Montgomery disease.
He wanted everyone in that arena to know.
He showed everyone that he is a narcissistic sociopath killer. Like, that is true. It's not a stereotype. But like, he literally walks through a sea of like SWAT team members. And he's like, excuse me, guys. Hey, guys. He looks all of them in the eye, like, might as well shake their hands, kiss their babies. And then does it again when he leaves. Like, dude. And how am I not raising my eyebrows if I'm the boys in blue?
If I'm the boys in blue, I'm raising my eyebrows.
And that's just that.
And
especially from the boys in blue and Rosewood P.
And we've always said that.
We've always said that.
So yes, Toby is looking at, yes, you're going to hear this right, his girlfriend's file. And the one who's under arrest right now, and bail's about to be revoked. Lieutenant Tanner walks in and Toby's like, it's open. I'm allowed to look at this. Hey, it's not confidential.
Nice try. You can't get me in trouble. I already checked. Literally like, okay, well, now you're acting weird. So what else are you up to?
And Lieutenant Tanner's like, yeah, I see why you're here.
Yeah.
I see why you're here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hand you this newly opened arrest warrant for Spencer so you can.
I feel like you're looking for this and you're allowed to look at it. You're right. But be a little bit less obvious, maybe.
We find out that there is someone who testified that they saw Spencer Hastings with a blonde girl in Allie's clothes.
Dude, I was worried that they were going to have gotten the Melissa tape.
Oh my God, imagine.
That's what I thought was going to be the eyewitness.
And then the sisterhood's over because Spencer's going to think it was intentional.
Well, yeah. Spencer's not going to be able to get across the pond, but someone will, and they'll take care of Melissa.
Guys, guess who the witness was? Justy.
Whoa.
And we actually kind of did already know that she saw this, but we thought that this was kept quiet. And we see this. Toby really, I mean, wherever he went to police school really switched something in his brain because suddenly he can like reason really well. And he is thinking through things.
It's almost like he's been dating Spencer Hastings for 3 years.
But he hasn't acted like it until he went to police school.
That's fair. Then what we find out though is that like Jess D told the police this 2 years ago. And Detective Wilden has been hiding it and keeping it under wraps because they believe he was paid off to keep this quiet. And it all leads back to Radley.
It always does.
Oh, and Hottie Holbrook is out. So it's like we've never seen them in the room at the same time. Like last episode, we could only have him. Now we can only have Butterscotch. But Hottie Holbrook is out on temporary assignment. I'm like, it sounds like you found out he kissed a kid.
I do kind of think if I'm the police, like if I'm Lieutenant Tanner, I'm coming into this town and I'm like them saying, and it always leads back to Bradley, kind of took me out of it for a second. I was like, okay, it's giving like, this doesn't seem real
There
anymore.
was a lot that took me out of it in this episode.
Grunwald.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah.
It's enough with like the mysticism. Like,
I agree.
We're good.
I just feel like there's too much lore at Radley for it to be like actually a problem. I don't know how to explain how to articulate what I mean.
Hey, why did everybody move? Ezra moved. Caleb moved. What's going on?
What's crazy is Ezra's not.
And no one said anything about it.
Ezra is going to stay at 3B for a little bit longer.
Wait, so what is this place?
It's the Brew.
Is he own it now?
Yes.
When did I miss something?
Yeah, well, no.
Okay.
We weren't informed of it.
We did miss it, but we weren't shown it.
The Brew is completely, it's unrecognizable.
Completely, like, it looks like our living room when the ceiling fell in. Okay. That's what it looks like.
All right.
It looks, and we know exactly what that kind of look is.
You guys have been wondering what that looked like.
I think I posted pics.
You just watch this episode and imagine that there's rubble on the ground filled with squishies.
It's squishies and like hair ties. And then imagine two crying girls in their PJs with no bras on trying to vacuum up soaking wet ceiling stuff.
Ceiling,
sobbing.
We're so different.
Ceiling
stuff and drywall.
Anyway,
so we're at the Brew and Ezra bought it and is renovating it and it's gonna be like a bookstore coffee shop which
like it already was though.
Exactly.
Hey Ezra, you're wasting money.
And Arya, a backhanded compliment, she goes, it just seems like it has to get really messy before it gets clean.
She's so annoying. And actually this episode, other than her like one good moment, this is a really annoying episode for her because we find out.
Oh, by the way, guys, she's in the Tortured Poets Department outfit.
This is what Phoebe meant. Phoebe's like, have you watched this episode? And then she does something later in the episode that is like choreography from the Eras Tour.
Yes.
I couldn't believe this jacket though, and Phoebe was exactly right. I mean, you should explain it because you explained it to me and you nailed it.
It looks like a marching band jacket or like the Michael Jackson red, but it's white. It literally is exactly what Taylor is wearing when she does her little march in The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
With like the black, what is that called? They have like a name. They're not like the buttons, but across the front of the jacket.
Those little loops.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. And then it's got like shoulder pads. It's very formal fitting.
Yes.
You know. Anyway, that's her look today. She looks
crazy. It looks so uncomfortable.
It's
for a Halloween costume for sure, not for every day. And Ezra asks Arya if she's heard back from Oberlin, which we know Hannah also applied to.
Hey, Ezra, just like don't ask.
Because this is also reminding me that your girlfriend is applying to college.
Yeah, exactly. And I like how Arya, then he's like, how's Mike doing since the funeral? She's like, oh, I actually haven't heard from him.
Oh,
you haven't heard from your brother?
This is where Spencer doesn't say stop, heard around the world. Arya
does. Okay, I thought Arya said it, but.
Yeah, I have it written down here.
Yeah.
But Mike won't talk to Arya about Mona. And for some reason, Ezra asks if he can try.
Which just like, again, so bizarre. So then we go to Emily's house.
Paige is all packed and they are just having like their last couple nights together, and Emily keeps just being like, well, you could stay till graduation.
Emily's like, what if you tried this? What if you tried this? It's like so annoying when you ask when you're venting to someone or talking about a problem, they're like, well, try this. It's like, this is kind of Mo's being like, I don't want a solution. There isn't a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And please stop trying to convince me that there could be
Why
if
are
I
we
just did this one thing.
Like we're 17-year-olds who can decide that we're not moving across the country with our parents.
And it's also like, in what world, I don't know. I just feel like this was also how, like, you know your parents better than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So if Mose is saying it's not going to happen, Emily, like, you just need to drop it. It's so annoying. And it's like, I don't know how to explain to you that my parents, like, and this is how our parents would be, like, it is not.
And Emily should get it. Because
yes, I know, because
it wouldn't fly for them at all.
But it is so crazy that her family is moving her to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like one of the most liberal cities in the world.
I know, they really had a change in heart.
Like, I know. I'm like, okay, can we get an update on
Mr. McCullers?
The McCullers, please?
And so they're talking about how like Paige is moving because it's safer in California. And Emily goes, California has earthquakes. And Paige goes, I tried that already.
Okay, great.
And then this is the worst part. Paige sits right up and faces Emily and goes, I heard this song the other day. Old song. Girl says. I didn't even write the quote because I hate the way she fucking says it.
I just didn't think it was like it weren't. I was
like, it takes a day.
Your eyes. It's a day's work just to look into them. That sounds like not a compliment, low key. I said whatever that means. Emily's like, I'm like, Emily, you have no fucking clue what she just said to you. I just hate
old song.
Girl says,
shut up.
Okay, so Hannah is now dishing up some chocolate ice cream for her and Caleb, and Hannah's just telling him everything about her helping with Mona's mom, and basically she's feeling a little responsible because she believes they pushed Mona to help them, and Caleb, is trying to like kind of soothe her, and he picks up Mona's computer. Oh my God, it is padlocked. This is definitely the inspiration Phoebe had in mind when she left for college and locked up her journals with like wires and like ticking time bombs and kryptonite.
In kryptonite for sure. It looks like the thing in Harry Potter, the furry book.
Oh my God, yeah, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, but that's a brown leather bound book, so it doesn't actually look anything like this.
Wait, no, but okay, I know it doesn't.
Well, you did say look.
But I mean, like, it has the same vibe.
Okay.
And also, I don't know that it was leather. I think it was furry. Because I had one.
I did too. I'm telling you, it was leather bound. The whole thing was not furry.
I had it was like a robot. In the third movie that he has to like...
Yeah.
Is it leather? Mine was furry.
What movie are you talking about?
The third movie.
A Fantastic Beasts or
Harry Potter?
Yeah, I don't think it was furry. I'm pretty sure it's like... Maybe I'm wrong. I know it like moves around, like has teeth and stuff.
On the top, it has spider eyes.
No, I think it's like leather. I mean, it's like I think it's like leather, like suede or something.
Perhaps. Anyway, it's scary, and I always fucking hated it, but I did.
But I think it has. I know what you mean. Like, I just don't know if it's completely furry. But maybe I'm thinking of something different.
But that's kind of the vibe of Mona's computer.
Yes,
it looks like it might bite you if you try to open it.
For sure. And Hannah says, well, she wants to know what he thinks Allie did with Mona's body. And they're wondering if there could be someone else who knows or who could find out. And she already knows Hannah already knows what Hannah means. And Hannah says Grunwald, and Caleb basically is like, N-O, we're not doing that. No. And she tries to convince him.
You can't mess around with this stuff, Han.
Yeah, so then we have Arya privately reading her rejection letter from Oberlin College. I need to see Hannah's. I need to see what letter Hannah got.
Did you see that there's a restaurant in the back of Rosewood Times Square in this aerial shot we get? Because, by the way, it's nighttime. And Arya's just sitting in the park reading her Oberlin letter. There's a store or a restaurant that's called Diva Dish.
Wait, work? When are we going to go there?
I don't know.
Do we ever?
This is the first time I've ever noticed it.
We have to be if it's there.
I know, I don't know.
Diva Dish.
That's what Ezra's renaming
New
the
segment. Ah! Could you imagine?
Arya's like,
they're gonna hire the drag queens that I saw. Anyway,
and that's a story for another day.
Yeah. So she's reading this college letter. How pissed though when if Hannah gets accepted and Arya doesn't, how mean will Arya be to Hannah? Like I almost don't want it for Hannah.
She's gonna be like, well, she probably wrote about how she's a single parent.
Did you steal my essay?
And I didn't think that I needed to write. I didn't need to exploit my family's affair.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like,
Allie sees this, and like
it's like standing over her.
She was bad news. And Arya may as well slap her again.
Arya like jumps up, tries to run. Allie steps in front of her, and she says, and Arya is doing, remember how she like fucking flipped out at Hannah a couple episodes ago?
This is exactly what this is.
She's doing this to Allie, and she says, if you want me to believe you're not who we think you are, you will leave us all alone. Allie, you're you stole the game from Mona, and then you killed her because she had proof, and you killed Bethany because you were jealous of a mental patient. That's how crazy you are.
And then Allie grabs Arya's arm, and Arya pulls out, I think, the whistle that Mona passed out at the start of school this year when Allie came back, and starts whistling it. And suddenly, there's 800 million people at Rosewood Times Square.
Sent by someone who wanted me dead. We sleep with a gun underneath our bed. We write in a book where you a sleeper cell spy. The smallest girl who ever lived.
You don't even have to watch the episode.
That's kind of what happens, and everyone's doing the choreography and marching around. Travis Kelce does come out,
and Ezra's like, "Are you writing a book?"
Yeah. He's like, "Wait, one of us was,"
and it wasn't.
Was this
Allie.
Arya saying this to Allie? But feels like she's singing about me. People getting so mad that we like.
Is that the story of Carly Kloss's life or what?
No, no, literally.
Because guys,
she's singing this to someone else.
Not
is this actually
Gaylor,
about
not
me?
to bring up Gaylor, but I'm going to because Carly Kloss's birthday just happened, and Taylor made everything point to everybody wanting to watch the August 2nd show because they thought something was going to be announced, and nope, she just played Maroon again.
Oh my god!
And she played Maroon on Carly's birthday last year.
That's where it's like you have to know what you're doing, and in plain sight you hid, and you are what you did.
Yeah. And it is kind of like she's singing to Travi every night, but who's she singing about?
Who is she singing about? But so Arya blows this freaking whistle, which is so fucking funny. Her being in the shack blowing the whistle, and Allie's like, "What the fuck?" And just like
what?
She has like a normal reaction and like runs away. She's like, "Jesus Christ! Like,
why do I want to be friends with them again?
Why are you doing that? And what are you wearing?" And she like runs.
And that's a weird fucking jacket.
And by the way,
Arya.
you look like shit. So funny.
So then we go to the
I'm telling everyone you got rejected.
guys, we didn't get into Oberlin. I heard Hannah got in.
Of all places.
I heard Hannah got in.
Which like isn't Oberlin a good school?
Yeah.
Arya's like, it was my safety. How could I not get in?
Because she's a bitch. She saw it on Hannah's list and she was like, oh, it's a safety.
Oh, it must be easy. She's like, Brown was on Hannah's list, so they must have like really dumbed themselves down. She wouldn't do her research though. Anyway, the girls are at the Hastings Castle. Bethany's parents are currently talking to the lawyers. Tensions are high. We know Holbrook's trying to prove Spencer forged that letter from Bethany. They're trying to prove that Allie killed Mona, and they're hoping that if they can prove Allie killed Mona, the cops will realize there must be something connected between that and the murder of Bethany Young. But the problem is Allie does have an alibi that they have to tear down, and the alibi is that she was with her family on Thanksgiving, and Kenneth is really corroborating that. And I believe Jason
is as well, and Jenser. Spencer says,
okay, need me to attack my big bro?
Bet.
She goes, I'm your sister. It's what I do. What if she said that to Jason when he's like, Spencer, you need to leave? I love it. She goes, she's your sister, but so am I. And it's like, okay, but not really, Spencer. Like, come on.
You and Melissa barely act like Spencers.
You and Melissa barely act like Spencers.
Barely act like sisters.
It's true. It's true. If you guys want to know what real sisterhood is like, just listen to the Pretty Little podcast. You can hear us fight and make up in one fell swoop.
Well, our dad literally basically listened to an episode of the podcast. He was
blown away because Phoebe and I got in a screaming match at like 9 in the morning on the day that we were interviewing Sarah Shepard. And then Phoebe comes on like 5 minutes later. She's like, sorry, I was in a bad mood. I overslept. And then we just like moved on, and Dad was like, what? Boy,
because Dad heard Caroline frankly cussing me out in the morning.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
came
because
down
guys, I played "Got a Secret, Can You Keep It?" I played that, okay, and we all know I have the little like octagrip thing on the back of my phone, so it's a little bit sticky and hard to slide around.
by
So
a
Phoebe
little
has
bit sticky, I mean impossible. She said it.
has
She said it
like 2 inches underneath her door. So I slipped my phone playing, obviously the song, underneath it to wake her up in a gentle, sweet way. And it made a little bit more noise because it touched the door. Phoebe goes, "Gail, stop!" And I was like, "Phoebe, you have to get up." And she goes, "Oh my God." And she starts getting mad. And I was like, "You're such a bitch." And then I take my phone and like go downstairs. I'm like, "Oh my God, you bitch." And so I guess Dad heard all that. And then Phoebe came down. She's like, "Sorry, I overslept."
I also, and no offense, Mom, but I did think she was our mom.
So she was like, "I would never have yelled at you like that."
No, I didn't yell at Mom initially. I yelled when I realized it was Caroline and she doubled down and I was like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I was like, "Wake up." And then she was like, "No." And then she did. And then Dad was like, "So something happened a couple minutes ago, but it doesn't seem like something happened." And that's just like what's beautiful about us.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So we go to the brew and Ezra has recruited Mike to help finish up these bookshelves.
How funny wait, can we reenact the Ezra Mike exchange? I'll be Ezra.
Oh, I don't really remember.
Okay, here's your line. Your line is, "I guess," and then okay. Okay? You leave the funeral early?
I guess.
You did.
Okay.
You did? It's so funny. He goes, "I guess." And Ezra's like, "You did."
Ezra, you are not his dad.
It cracks me up. No, I know. It is really like, it's bizarre. He's like, "It wasn't a real funeral." And then
And this is sad because Mike is like, yeah, he says it wasn't a real funeral. No body, no funeral.
Mike feels how I do. No, nobody, no crime. Mike feels like I do because we don't believe it. We're like, bullshit. We're like, we call bullshit.
But then he does say no one loses that much but blood and lives.
But we don't know. Like, it could be someone else's blood.
And Mike says what, like, I am kind of thinking this whole episode. He's like, how should I act? Like, what do you guys want me to do? Like, just let me be.
Everyone has this idea of how he should be grieving and how everyone should be grieving. And it's funny because these girls are so used to grieving in the public eye and what that's supposed to look like. And they're so tuned into optics. Like, back to that Gone Girl thing. Like, they know, even if they feel a certain way, they've been in this game for so long now that they know how things will be perceived. So they're going to act whatever way. So when Mike isn't acting like that and he's like a normal person who like grief doesn't show up the same on everyone, they're like, well, you should be acting like this because if you don't act like this, then people are going to think this.
Yeah,
and
it's like when you watch documentary and you listen to the 911 call and you're like, he's doing this, he's doing like, and it's like sometimes there are things you can look into and you're like, well, the 911, you can look back and see that it pointed to certain things, but typically it could just be like, I mean, shock looks different for everybody.
Right.
So like,
and I mean, literally, I think it's fucked up because Ezra says to Mike, you aren't acting like you've lost someone. So like, I'm wondering if you think she's still here, but that you aren't acting like you've lost someone. That's when he's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And then like later, Arya too says, you know, this happened. And he's like, okay. And she's like, okay. Like, that's all you have to say. And it's like, enough.
And then Mike hardens again and he says, look, people live and people die. It's the only sure thing in this world.
Ooh,
I hate that saying. Only sure thing in this world.
Got him, Mike. So Grenwald meets Hannah at Mona's memorial site. And it's actually kind of sweet. She's like, Hannah's like, thank you for coming. And Grenwald goes, thank you for remembering me. Which is just so sweet.
I also said, okay, diva off, because Hannah goes, well, you're hard to forget. And she says, and I take that as a compliment.
Oh, and then she did a death drop. And we were like, okay, Grundy.
Okay.
Grundy also wasn't giving the creepy vibe she was giving.
We need to get her on the Jersey Shore.
What would she do?
Well, not wear slip-on Vans.
Not wear slip-on Vans, that's for sure. So Hannah basically is like, there's no one in the casket. She's like, yeah, I know, I'm psychic. And Hannah's like, well, can you help us find the body of Mona? Because we think that Allison killed her. And Grandma seems literally shocked to hear that. She's like, you think my Allison is like kind of the vibe?
Like, well, Allison was really weird to you that night that all that happened.
Yeah, did you forget like Allison's whole thing?
Did you forget that you took her to the hospital and then she ran away?
Yeah, don't forget that. So Hannah gives her the dog from Mona's bedroom to help find the body.
Grandma holds it and she goes, sweet Bungie.
No, little Bungie. Little Bungie.
Bungie's crazy.
And she's like, Bungie? Hannah's like, Bungie? And Grandma's like, it's his name. That's how I hope one day when I go and whoever has custody of Jenna at that point, probably Kelly will be like, she'll give it to someone and it's like, they're like, oh, it feels like a Catherine. And she's like, snatches it back.
It's Jenna.
Jenna. And they're like, Jenna. She's like, it's her name.
The most beautiful name a woman can have.
It's the most beautiful name a woman can have. Everybody knows that. Anyway, Jason's back and he looks hot. He looks actually really sexy. Okay, fine.
And so Spencer and Emily are coming over because
the most believable excuse we've ever seen on the show.
Emily says that she needs to go look for her mom's muffin tray.
You know, her mom's like, Emily, that was my nice muffin tin. Okay, go, but be polite about it. But I did say I needed that one back, and I haven't gotten it back yet. So you know that's Pam feels.
So Pam, and Spencer. Again, I know that this ends up working out for her, but she's it's a little much. It's a little much for me.
Yeah, she basically confronts Jason. Why are you protecting Allie? There were literally traces of Mona's DNA in her truck. And we know that Jason is backing up this alibi. And that's when Spencer says the insane line, I know she's your sister, but so am I.
She does eat in a minute, though, because she's like, someone is dead because of Allison.
She has her Arya moment in this episode, though, because she keeps going back to me.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to jail because of her. Someone is dead. She's like a moment where she's like, and of course. The bigger thing is that someone's dead because of her.
And I like what Spencer says when she says, they want you to lie and I want you to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And it is like, okay, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that makes it seem a little easier. That is actually a really good way to just put things in perspective, like what's right and what's wrong. So then Grandma's like casting a spell or something and says to Hannah, how can you live in such a psychically constipated world? To which Hannah responds, I eat a lot of fiber. And I guess she's just basically like doing her spell and realizes there are walls and guards and all these
barriers.
Yeah.
Secrets carry over to death, we find out.
We sure do.
Mona's not having too easy of a time
So
passing.
is this confirmation that she's dead?
Well, I would say that the confirmation that Mona was dead was the body.
Stop it, Phoebe, because you know as well as I do that means nothing. In these times, I saw Ian's body hanging.
That is a good point.
I watched his neck snap. And then I saw his dead body, gunshot in his head, and then that body was gone too. He like continued to be alive after both of those things. He's like Rasputin. He couldn't die. That was his whole thing.
Crazy reference.
Also not the first time I've referenced Rasputin.
Reference from Caroline.
Why is that weird to come from me? I loved researching the Romanovs. The Lost Princess Anastasia.
That actually tracks. So, Granny says that it's like seeing through a dark glass.
You know what's interesting? No, she says the title, Seeing Through a Glass Darkly.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said it and I was typing it, I was like, that is like not the right way to say that. And then not that being the literal title of the app.
I think that's a book.
Oh, maybe. Also, all these petals are falling off of the flowers that are put especially on Mona's like grave, but everyone's.
It's a film.
What is it about?
Of course, it's a film from a long time ago. Black and white.
Oh, great. Let me guess it's black and white.
Black and white, 1961.
Oh, great.
Let's see. Karen hopes to recover from her recent stay at a mental hospital by spending the summer at her family's cottage on a tiny island. Her husband, Martin, cares for her, but is frustrated by her physical withdrawal. Her younger brother, Minus, is confused by Karen's vulnerability and his own budding sexuality. Their father, David, cannot overcome his haughty remoteness. Beset by visions, Karen descends further into madness. It's giving yellow wallpaper.
It's giving The Awakening. Not really, but that's what I was thinking of when I said Little Beach Town.
Well, it's giving the yellow wallpaper.
It's giving.
What a disturbing.
I haven't read
story.
that.
Oh my god. People always
it's
reference
true?
this. There's this what?
You said it's true?
What's true?
Yellow wallpaper? Did you just say that's a disturbing true story?
No, I don't think it's true.
Okay.
But I saw this tweet that was like, you would have English third period and your English teacher would make you read like the most disturbing short story you've ever read in your life that still sticks with you today, and then you'd have to go to gym.
Do you remember The Lottery? That short story?
Mm-mm.
It was like, and I always envisioned it being on Beverly Road, and I'm like, anytime I talk about anything now, I'm like, I've talked about this in the podcast, but it's a short story that's about like in this town, every year there was like a lottery, and if you ended up winning the lottery, then you had to go stand up on a stage and everyone in the town stoned you to death.
Not you
But you
envisioning
don't-
Beverly Road.
You don't know the whole time that's what the lottery's for. So everyone's like, oh, it's the day of the lottery. Like, it's sort of like Hunger Games vibes where they're like, oh, explaining like why they have to do this and whatever. But they're all like, oh, hi, happy lottery day. Like, they're all time at the lottery and everyone's like grabbing their stones and you don't know what's happening until like literally the very end you realize what it is. But that has really stuck with me. It's a good one.
Yeah, that and The Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah, that's a really good one too. And there's another really good one. It's by Joan Didion, and it's about a girl who like gets abducted, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's good.
Well,
anyway, there's also, I'm sure, a bunch by Aria Montgomery and Z. And they co-wrote them
for sure. So Grunwald says, when Hannah asks if point blank if Allie killed Mona, and Grunwald can't really give a clear answer, and she says each one hated because each one hated the other because each one feared the other because they knew things about the other.
And Hannah then is like, is she dead? And I was like, Hannah, let her cook. Like, she's obviously thinking, like, just let her. And she basically says, she isn't in Rosewood. She's in the dark. She's not having an easy passing. Betrayal and loss. Her soul is lost, bound. She's surrounded by earth and insects and cold. There is no peace, only fear. Oof. So is she buried alive? This is where Phoebe says, she's dead. Because I asked if she's buried alive.
Caroline thinks that Mona.
I was going to trick you.
Mona's
and then if you said yes, I'd be like, ha ha.
Mona's just still alive, just like in cold soil.
Well, that's kind of what happened to Allie. Yeah. Again, every argument you have is like,
it's been 3 months.
So who knows? She might not still be. Also, Grunwald could be a freaking hack. We don't know.
Hacks by Max.
Yeah.
So then we go to the Hastings Castle, and
Spencer is pissed.
Emily's going crazy. Emily fully stole Allie's hairbrush.
Yeah, and she's like, we're going to go plant some DNA. And Spencer's like, well, okay, creating false evidence is an actual crime. And Emily says, so is murdering someone.
Murder.
So we then go back to the De Laurentiis dungeon, and Jason is just like looking at old baby pictures.
Doesn't seem like him.
Brooding and upset because he doesn't have any picture albums. And it's like, well, look at her.
The look on Allie's face was so funny when she walks in and Jason goes, I was upstairs today. Did you know that you have 3 baby albums dedicated only to you?
She's like, only? I think there's 4, but yeah.
And Jason's like, guess how many I have?
She's like,
and she looks at him like,
she's like,
I need Megan Albatross. I need Megan on.
Yeah.
I need Megan on this track.
Wait, not me scrolling Twitter last night and multiple people tweeting that Grey's Anatomy Megan doing "You Fell Out of a Cuckoo."
A what?
Like, or what? I want to say "Cuckoo's Nest" because I was thinking of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, but
which, by the way, is that Hunter Schafer movie?
Yeah, it's like about it. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was just like the name.
What's it called? Once?
I think it's just called Cuckoo.
Cuckoo. Yeah. I think it is based maybe like something to. I think there's something to do with
that's
it.
What I thought.
But anyway, it looks really good.
Is that Kurt Vonnegut? Or is he Slaughterhouse-5?
He is Slaughterhouse-5. I don't remember who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But anyway, I never really like finished reading it. It was the last book that we read at the school year. And it was like we had like 4 days left of school. And it was like the longest book. And they're like, well, we're just going to try it. And no one fucking read it. So, but I was bummed because I actually would have wanted to read that.
It's by Ken Kesey. Who wrote Clockwork Orange? Is that also Kurt Vonnegut?
No. I'm pretty sure.
Anthony Burgess. My junior year English teacher, I had my qualms with her, but she was smart. The last book of the year that we read was Catcher in the Rye.
Oh, that's so nice.
Which was perfect.
Because everyone loves that.
And it's so quick, and it kind of gives that vibe of like school wrapping up kind of.
That actually is such a better, because it was the same year that we had to do Cuckoo's Nest last. It was just like, no one wanted to do it. Anywho, so Jason pulls up like a picture and is like, do you remember this day? And it's a family photo, and she says it was a good day. And he's like, okay, it was actually a fucking awful day. And he like explains everything that went wrong. Well, no, this is the truth. Or he goes, this is how it actually was. And you have a knack for remembering things differently.
And then she goes, Spencer talked to you.
She can talk immediately. She can tell immediately. And he's like,
this is a dig. And this kind of cuts Allie deep because Jason says, and Emily.
Oh, yeah. You know what you were doing with that, Jason. So he asks where Allie was on Thanksgiving, and she basically immediately breaks down, says she's being framed. She says that the liars are working together to frame her.
This girl folds so easy.
I know. She's like, they wish I never came home, and now they want me gone. I did not kill Mona.
Also, to put it on the girls was crazy.
I thought the same thing, because
if you're not A and you know you're not
then
A,
what are you doing?
Then why don't you think that A is not doing this to you?
I know.
So then we go to Caleb's new apartment, and Caleb, I guess, is a metalhead.
I'm like, I don't know
want
what's
this for him.
happening.
I want Caleb to listen to the Strokes. That's kind of his vibe to me.
I want Caleb to like put headphones on. I don't need to know what you listen to.
He has like stacks and stacks and stacks of speakers and subwoofers in his apartment. And also, by the way, he has a downstairs neighbor because he's
the first time he's had a place to live. So he's like really like maxing it out.
I guess that makes sense.
He's like, what would I always have in my room? A sound system.
Arya walks in and it's literally giving like an episode of Hoarders when like when the normal people walk into the house.
Like, wow. Like that judgy way they look around.
Arya, she brought coffee by. Basically, we find out that Caleb's mom is the one who's helping Caleb have this place, and he's been trying to decrypt Mona's computers and all this stuff. He's kind of like confused as to why Arya wants to be there, and he's explaining that like the decrypting software finds patterns in the encryption so that it can then break them. But Mona was a fucking wizard and created her own patterns that had never been used before.
So the machine can't even like detect them. And then Caleb asks why Arya is there, and she admits that she didn't get into Brown, which she was, I guess, okay with.
Mm-hmm.
But her not getting into Oberlin really shook her to her core. So she wants to find out why she got rejected. Was it her or was it A? Because it couldn't possibly be that she just didn't get in.
Of course. Thank God she is A. I
know. I can't wait to find out what the truth is. So then he's like, well, yeah, but I'm not just going to do it for you. And I don't like how close they like look at it. They have a moment where it looks like they're going to kiss.
And Caleb says,
I almost leapt out of my chair.
She literally, she's such a bitch. She's sitting at the computer. He puts her in front of the computer. So she's going to like do the work. And
well, also like, yeah, because he doesn't need to make himself a criminal for you. Like,
and
that's why you should be doing it.
Arya looks at him and goes, look, Caleb, if you don't want to help, and he goes, okay, calm down.
Yeah.
If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day.
And honestly, it is right, but it's like also like, Arya, you're asking a lot.
She is, but then I'm also like, Caleb, I would get frustrated because
I
like,
would too.
Arya doesn't need to know how to do this, and if I'm like, I wouldn't have the patience.
I hope it's just really easy and simple to do, and that like he just shows her really, really fast.
Caleb's
so
gonna
that
be
she
like,
can just get it done, and it's not his fingerprints, but still.
Caleb's gonna be like, go to Google, search Penn State. Let's apply there.
Yeah, let's just try somewhere else, maybe. Oh my God. Come on, Slick Back Bun. We got Clean Girl Aesthetic from Spencer and Emily. They are in Mona's house looking for places.
They're making me laugh. Who is this Emily girl? She's like, okay, Paige is about to leave. I need to have a personality somehow.
Right, yeah, exactly. I need something else going on. So I'm going to do this. So they have pieces of Allie's hair that they're going to go plant around the house in places the police might have missed because
Buns
they're going to...
and gloves planting evidence. Buns and gloves planting evidence. That's the song for them.
What is that?
Buns and gloves planting evidence.
Okay. I understood the words you said. What are you quoting?
That's their song. Their TikTok song.
Is that a real song?
No, it's the thing.
What thing?
Like I would say, floral dress in a messy bun.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Buns and gloves planting evidence.
Yeah, that sounded like it. You went buns. I thought, you know what I thought you were doing? Guns and ships and battleships from Hamilton.
And yes, guys, in case you're wondering, I can't do the rap. I can't do the rap.
Go
I'm
ahead.
not going to do it here.
Why?
Because that's Patreon
You're
content.
scared? That's
I don't want to be
content.
given an honorary Tony without ever gracing a stage.
Oh my God. Okay.
So when we do our live shows, I'll come out singing Guns and Ships.
Right, of course.
And I'm gonna do the kick jump.
I'll make sure of it.
I know.
So as they're looking, they bend down and Spencer's going to put a hair in the vent. And we see there are fucking cameras in the vents, which is perfect. And so, of course, they go back and they're like, so Hannah, if you could just tell Mona's mom about the cameras. She's like, could I maybe not be the one who has to do that? But they make her
Hannah
because the cameras must have seen what happened.
I loved the cut of them finding the cameras and then we go right to Hannah. I'm not doing
that. I know. I loved it.
Ashley Benz looks gorgeous in this. Her hair looks great.
I think she looks so good.
So then we go to, of course, Hannah does have to do it. We go to Mona's room and Mrs. Vanderwald is saying that she's going to set up a fund so that at the library they'll be able to donate books in Mona's name, and in each book, I'm like, okay, girl.
Did you feel the way I felt about this? Which, like, I know she's dead. You want to honor her. She did some fucked up stuff.
I don't want her, but also I'm like, okay,
the children's library.
I don't know about that, but I do get it, because Mona's mom says something that, like, when she says for a while, I think reading was all she had. So I get why, like, that's. But I'm like, okay, just do the fund then.
Yeah,
there doesn't need to be a picture of Mona in every book, especially. Okay, girl, those cards are gonna be lost.
Especially if a kid Googles her. You know what I mean? Like, just do a fund for, like. Also, like, mental health.
Do you want these kids to Google this girl and then find out that she was, like, brutally murdered?
What I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, that's what they're gonna do. So you should just do a fund for mental health or, like, bullying or something like that. Like, that would be honestly a better use of your money.
Exactly.
Anyway, we get a flashback.
I had this shirt that Mona's wearing with the fucking whales on it.
Okay, well, wear it.
I don't know where. I think we got rid of it. But I literally, I know exactly what shirt it was, because it's not Vineyard Vines. It's like Mosimo.
Okay, do you have any pics?
Probably somewhere.
Find it.
Oh my gosh! But literally, I didn't have the scarf though, the matching scarf.
Well,
but I did have that blue button down with the white and pink Vineyard Vines whales that weren't really Vineyard Vines. They are in. Oh, this was like.
I know, this was sweet.
Hannah's like looking at this book, and Mona goes, "You should read that. It's Henry James. He understands girls." Why does Hannah need to read?
Mona's like, I can't read. I mean, Hannah's like, I can't read that. And Mona says, actually, I think you can, and you're smarter than Spencer. You just pretend you're not.
She says this is a Spencer Hastings book. And Mona doesn't even look up. She's like, you're smarter than Spencer.
I know.
It just, like, it rolls right off her tongue. She's like, you're smarter than Spencer.
Mona did see something in Hannah that the other girls still have yet to see. Exactly. I hope they will soon. But then we come back to the present, and Mona's mom tells her she can keep the
Mona
book.
Does say to Hannah that playing dumb is just another way to hide. Yep. And, like, I know Mona did a lot of fucked up stuff, but we would not have the Hannah we have now without Mona.
It's very true. It's very true.
So yes, we're back, and this is when Hannah starts to mention that Mona would, like, say, like, what if I should put cameras up?
She was afraid.
Maybe we should look. Maybe that's something we could look for.
So she asked, do you think Mona would actually have done this? And it turns out that she did.
Of course.
So we go to Aria. She's walking into the brew. If I'm Aria, I'm just never walking into a place alone again. Like, why are we still doing this? When you walk in and call and no one responds to you, walk right on out, you know? Because, of course, she's attacked, and she's literally begging the person not to kill her.
This is so scary. Mike says, come get me in 10 minutes. She calls him. We hear the phone ring. She turns around. It's A with, like, a really dark holding the phone.
Yeah.
And then they get into a physical altercation.
This is crazy.
And A throws her down, picks her back up, pins her against the wall, and then staples, like, the plastic sheets that are all over the place over her.
Like, staples her to the wall, covered in this, so she can't breathe. She's, like, suffocating.
Even though it looks pretty loose. She got out of there pretty easily.
She did get out pretty quick. Well, then I was like, okay, well, now go run.
Because you need that.
Because they do that and they take the computer. And
no, because this is in Aria's mind. She's like, Oberlin's not that important to me.
I know,
because
literally.
She's forgetting that there's other stuff on the computer that they need.
Exactly. Then we have Grunwald. She runs into Allie on the street, and shocker, Allie doesn't seem happy to see her. And Grunwald says, sorry for your loss. And Allie kind of has, like, this eye roll. And there's this weird interaction where basically they're like, why would we ask how each other is? We don't care. The truth is we don't like each other.
Yeah.
So then Allie tries to leave, and Grunwald grabs her wrist and is, like, staring into her eyes, probably doing some sort of soul searching or spell. And then we see the video. Guys, this video is actually bonkers.
Could you believe it?
No, it is this video of Mona being fucking thrown around like, it is comically, I mean, it's funny.
It's wild.
It is.
And guys, it's not looking good for Miss Dealer.
It's not looking good because we have long blonde hair just flying fucking everywhere. That hood is staying put, but that hair is just everywhere.
And so Jason is watching it with Toby, and
again, how's Toby here?
Because Spencer's is implicated in that. Like,
this is what is going to get Spencer off the hook. So you would think he wouldn't be allowed to be there.
And Jason says, or Lieutenant Butterscotch is like, do you recognize the attackers or anything about?
Yeah, she's like, is there even one single thing
I don't
that's
know,
recognizable? Yeah. And then instead of, I thought he was going to be like, oh, well, the hair's blonde. He goes all the way for it. He goes, it could be my sister.
Literally, it could be Allison.
She was like, I was just looking for like the color of her hair, but okay, we'll go with that.
And he admits that he lied about where Allie was at the time Mona was killed.
Sheesh. All right, Aria goes to Emily's. She's all shaken up. She hasn't told Ezra about it yet, and she's completely positive that person was Allie, to which I say,
I don't know.
No, it wasn't. That was not Allie.
No, it wasn't.
I know that wasn't Allie. And Emily like gets a text from Paige. She has to leave right now, but Emily chooses Aria and is going to help her. So this is crazy. Allison, Rebecca the dealer in his dungeon, she comes downstairs. She's taking a family photo. It looks like she's packed a bag and she's going to try to get out of town. At which point we hear sirens outside, police lights. Jason walks down the steps and she literally looks at him. Again, if we're innocent, I just can't. She goes, can you at least try to stall them? So he does.
Which I thought was interesting.
Which was crazy.
Which is also part of the moment that I was thinking you were talking about, because it's kind of like Melissa Spencer.
No.
But when she runs outside the back, the girls have created, I don't actually know what this word means, but I'm going to use it, a quagmire.
What? I was just going to say what's a quagmire, but you can't tell me.
You keep talking. I'm going to make sure that was something that made sense.
Okay. So the 4 girls stop her, and then Allie threatens them. She's like, if you do this, if you don't let me pass, you will all be next. I'm not A. And then the police show up. Allie gets arrested, and she says to the girls, don't say I didn't warn you. And Lieutenant Butterscotch puts cuffs on her. You're under arrest for the murder of Mona Vanderwall. And we go home. Aria's at home, and Mike walks in. And this is the moment that made me cry, because she asks to talk to him and she lets him know that Allison has been arrested for Mona's murder. And this is where Mike's like, okay. And she's like, that's all you have to say? And again, we don't need to be telling people how they should or shouldn't grieve.
Quagmire was definitely the wrong word, everybody.
I had a feeling, but what does it mean?
I still can't even really tell you, but not what I thought it meant.
You didn't just like look up the definition?
But it's complicated. I mean, I can't. I just.
How complicated
can it be?
What has
something to do with war, and I just like don't have I don't have time.
Okay. Well, I should have known, because they say, but quagmire.
Well, no, what I thought it was,
waving Betsy Ross's flag higher.
What I thought it was like a formation in war, like that soldiers would take up, is what I thought it was. And then I was like, is it Rochambeau? But that was just their code word.
Code name is Rochambeau. Anywho,
thank
Aria
God for
says
Hamilton.
that she's afraid to know what Mike knows. I know, literally, because she just doesn't want to know what like Mona's told him, and she admits that, and she's like, I realized like you might not have been afraid to talk to me. I was actually afraid to talk to you, and I've been this bitch, and now if Allie's behind bars, maybe we don't have to be afraid. And Mike says, I hate that everyone is pretending Mona was a saint and no one knew her. Everyone's like being so fake. I'm being told how sweet and smart and nice she was.
Line when he says, if you guys had all just said this to her face, we might not be in this position.
And he says there will never be anyone like her. And this is the part that made me cry, because Aria goes, do you think that maybe sometime you could tell me about her? The Mona you knew, the real Mona. And his eyes brim with tears, and he nods, and she gets up and leaves the room. And as soon as she leaves, you guys, he starts sobbing, like loud crying. And she stands around the corner listening to her brother just absolutely weep, and she starts crying. It's really a beautiful moment. And it made me realize like, wow, you know, that's really big of Aria. If Aria can say, after everything Mona did to them, you can tell me, I'll listen to you talk about her the way that you knew her. That is really crazy.
Let me go to the airport, and for a second I was like, okay, when did the show take place?
Well, for a second is this a pre or post 9/11 world?
That's what I meant. Oh my gosh, because Emily is in the airside terminal.
I forgot that Mose was leaving. I thought that like Allie was getting away again. I was like, girl, we're going to Rome now? Because that's what they were like saying on the thing, I feel like. I don't know. Anyway.
And Emily's gone to find Paige to like say whatever. Say bye. Tell her to stop. I don't know.
Well, she thinks that Paige will get to stay since Allie's in jail. She's like, great news. You can stay. Call your parents. Tell them we're safe. How naive can we really fucking be?
Oh my gosh. Emily got through security because she bought a $69 ticket to Atlantic City. And Paige says, look, I don't want to stay. I don't want to fight anymore.
She said something interesting. She's like, if I'm going to use everything I have to keep fighting, I don't think I'm going to have anything left to just live. And like that is, sometimes you got to know when you're bested. So They say, let's just pretend this is a good idea. And there's the last call for boarding.
It's the quietest airport in America, by the way.
Truly. They kiss and hug goodbye and sayonara Paige.
And Emily just stands there. I mean, they had to fill time, I think, because
we should have had.
We get like
just like that, no life is broken.
No, we're good. We did not need that here. We did not need that here. And not for this. We do get like 25 seconds of Shay Mitchell just standing there crying, like doing this with her hands.
Yeah, just rubbing her hands together. Hey, Demi DeVito, write that down.
Hey, write that down. Hastings Castle. Spencer walks into the living room and Lieutenant Tanner, Toby, and Daddy Hastings are there.
The trifecta of evil. The Bermuda Triangle of people. Toby Kavanaugh, Lieutenant Butterscotch, and Daddy Hastings standing in a living room.
Oh my God. And they are like...
Wait, not her immediately trying to leave. Sorry. She walks in, sees him. She's like, about face. And they're like, hey, Spencer, we saw you. She's like, oh, didn't know that. Like, she literally sees him. She's like, I'm out. I thought that was crazy.
And they're telling her that they now believe that Mona Vanderwall was not Allie's first victim. And they think that Allie set Spencer up. So the DA is going to drop the charges against Spencer.
Woo! We end with our 4 girls sitting on the stoop talking. And Emily's like, I almost just got on that plane to Atlantic City and flew away. And Hannah goes, I've been to Atlantic City. You made the right choice, which we just love. And they basically are just talking about...
Aria for a second. Aria says, Paige should have stayed. Aria...
Of course you would think that. Aria would be... Wait, how funny... Guys, I'm calling back to the Sarah Shepard convo one more time because in the books, Aria calls her parents by their first names. She was like, wait, she does it in the show? Oh, that's... Because it is such...
So Aria.
It just tells you so much about her. Like in her family and everything that she would call them by their first names. But... You know, she's like, I don't understand. She's an adult. Why can't she just tell her parents she doesn't want to go?
Literally.
Like, you know, that's how she would say
We're all equals. And this was a callback to the pilot, I thought, because Emily says, well,
yes, I thought so too.
Paige finally got out or whatever.
And you know what? And she says out. She doesn't say out. Some people try to make it out. She didn't do that. She said Paige got out.
And then these girls start kind of going off the rails in a way where I'm like, guys, we're not off the hook.
Literally, they're like, after we graduate, I'm going to be a private chef.
There's nothing keeping us here.
Yeah.
Our families don't matter. Our houses don't matter.
Aria might as well walk in the street, start doing a spin. She's like, we can do whatever we want. We can be whoever we want. I'm moving to France. I'm opening a bakery. It's literally like
vegan bakery.
Yeah, I'm opening a gluten-free vegan bakery in France. Oh my God. You guys will visit me, right? Hannah, I just know you're going to be a world famous pop star. We always had it in you. And Hannah's like, I don't what? Anyway, that's like the vibe we're getting here. They're just really excited. They're like, the spell is broken.
No gates, no dams, no barriers.
Precisely.
And then the fireworks start to go off. The Pirates won the Pirates game, I guess.
Because it's actually an episode of The Bachelor. Oh. It's either the Pirates just won or it's the end of an episode of The Bachelorette.
Speaking of the Pirates, I realized that when the baseball team plays 2 games back to back in a weekend and they lose one game and they win the other one, it kind of feels like
you didn't play at all.
If you went to the Eras tour and it was like she was in your city for multiple nights and she played Bad Surprise songs first night and the second night, the night you didn't go, she played like Maroon.
That's how you feel right now.
Well, that's what I'm just. It's
because
kind of a
you
similar
didn't go
situation.
to the game where they won.
Yeah. They won last night.
Maybe they lost because what?
They won last night.
Wait, really?
The Pirates?
Anthony kept telling me they didn't win.
They didn't win when we went.
We didn't go last night. Sorry. I was like,
Anthony, not us being at the game and Caroline just looking at me.
Well, no, but
Anthony kept telling me that.
I thought because there was a moment where it was like really close.
Yeah, it was.
And then I knew that we didn't win. But there was a moment where I was like, oh, wait, did we? And then I remember we did, and he said it. And then you just said we won. And I was like, wait. Okay, wait, no, he's literally gaslighting me. So, like, believe me, we
won last night. But there are fireworks over Rosewood, and we see.
And they're like, how beautiful. Look at the fireworks.
Look at the night sky.
Light up the night sky.
Blackout.
Oh, yeah, ¿qué pasó? Blackout.
I love how Lin-Manuel Miranda is the easy. I need Marcelo Hernandez to do a Lin-Manuel Miranda impression so badly. He'd be so good at it.
The blackout is so easy to do it though.
Blackout.
Blackout. It's like that one's so good to do.
So there's these fireworks again. And then we see that
There are giants in the sky. Sorry.
There are three Caroline hates Sondheim, but
I
here
wrote
she has
giant A in the sky, and I was like,
always singing Sondheim. She hates him, I
there's
guess.
a giant A in the sky.
And it's 1 red, 2 red, 3 red, and it's an A in the sky.
And it's literally a giant A in the sky. And the girls are like, she must have set this up before they got her, right? Right? I'm like, you're really having
Guys,
this hard of a
I'm
time
also
believing.
kind of
Again, we knew there were more than one of them.
I'm also like, Allie is a bitch, but she's not a loser. She would not be doing this shit.
This is so lame.
It's so
TBH.
loserish.
It's so lame. And then the fireworks start raining down right where they're standing as if to like catch
Burn
them on
them?
fire. I hope there's not a drought. I hope the grass
my
is well
God.
watered, because otherwise Rosewood's going up in freaking flames.
Then we go to the jail, and I decided Allie honestly is, I mean, this might feel a bit like a vacation. She's like, kind of like, I mean, I can manage all the threats
I guess so.
inside the walls. It's unmanageable on the outside.
Well,
Even
I
though this,
hope. I don't
you
know.
know.
Because the thing is, I don't know.
But yeah, Allie's tossing and turning, can't quite fall asleep.
And their footsteps coming closer and closer to her bunk. That's where we end. That's where we end. Now Phoebe's going to read the synopsis for season 5, episode 15. Things are getting crazy.
I know.
But the craziest thing, I know like a lot happened in this episode, but the craziest thing was Mona's mom slapping Allie.
It's called fresh meat.
Oh,
Toby is put in a difficult situation when a surprising piece of evidence arrives at the police department. Shocking. Maybe he shouldn't have his fingerprints all over the freaking case his girlfriend's involved in.
Whoop.
Emily and Arya struggle with situations that are out of their hands.
What else is new? Hey, what else is new?
That's the vibe.
That's kind of the vibe. Guys, that's the episode. Let us know what you think of this new structure. It's probably not going to change regardless of what you say, but we do care. I mean, if you really hate it, we'll listen. So let us know what you think. A few housekeeping things, a few reminders. Join our Patreon. This month, our episodes are going to start next week, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the last 3 Fridays of August. You'll get your Patreon episodes, which will be announced on our Instagram. I don't know if I'm off the top of my head right now, so go check for that. And then if you haven't listened, guys, we released an extremely important and exciting episode that we have been trying to tease, but also too scared to tease for a really long time. We sat down with Sarah Shepard. She came to our mother's home.
Crazy.
Can you believe? She came to our mother's home. We had an amazing talk with her. It's a lot about Nowhere Like Home, because that was our summer book club book. And of course, you know, if you've been taking part in the Reddit discussions and Instagram discussions and things like that, then you're going to absolutely love this. It does have spoilers for the book. So if you haven't finished it yet, you might want to wait to listen. But even if you didn't read the book and you're not going to, you should still listen, because there are a lot of little Pretty Little Liars nuggets. We do have some famous, you know, Connell tangents with her. And then at the end, we do talk about Pretty Little Liars. We play a little game. I thought it was an awesome conversation and a great episode.
I agree.
We had so much fun. So definitely check that out. That was out on Tuesday. And then you have like 4 sleeps for your next episode. 5 sleeps? Because you'll get your next one on Tuesday. I mean, how freaking lucky are you? So please go do all that. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to our podcast. Leave us a review. We love you. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you on Tuesday. See you next Tuesday.
Wow.
Oh my God. See you next Tuesday at Sir.
And
Splat.